Hi, I'm Trevor Sikkema here with CSN Sports Films, sitting down with Coach Rob Easom, who is the head coach of the Chivas Florida Football Academy U18 team. Coach, first of all, welcome, and tell us a little bit about the Chivas Florida Football Academy.
Thank you, Trevor. Thanks. Nice to meet you. Thanks for inviting me down. Well, the Chivas Football Academy is based here in Florida, in between Sarasota and IMG Academy in Bradenton. It was launched in, I believe, the year 2013. It was a joint venture between the Chivas USA team and the Chivas Guadalajara club. And the efforts of Academy Director Greg Beaver brought the Academy to life here in Florida. And it's a great pleasure to be here and working alongside Greg and the rest of the team.
Now, what is it specifically about Chivas that attracted you to this program?
Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of the MLS and soccer in America, and in fact all sports in America from a very early age. I have two young sons myself back in England, and you know, when you have young babies, you're up all night. And when you're up all night in England, you usually can only watch American sports. So I've always had a wonderful affiliation with American sport. And when I came over to Florida, I met with Greg Beaver and the Chivas team, and right away, you know, our philosophy on soccer is exactly the same. Our philosophy with young people is the same, and the organisation seemed very professional, very exciting proposition to work for. So it didn't take me long to basically agree to come on board, and so far so good. We've developed a really lovely relationship together.
We know that several Division I universities and colleges follow Chivas closely, as well as professional scouts. Now, what about the Chivas program makes it so special?
Well, that's an interesting point. I think that Chivas encourage players from all over Florida and the United States, and also have strong links with clubs from South America and also Europe. So it's we have players coming from all different backgrounds, and from different social stratas. You know, we have players coming in from different financial backgrounds. So we are looking to produce not only great young soccer players, but also develop fine young men. I mean, that's part of this program, which I find has allured me to it, because I worked on various projects in London that were very similar. So I think scouts like the fact that we have very, very raw soccer talent, but also there's a great passion that lay behind a lot of the players that play for us.
Now, Coach Rob, give us a little bit of a background on your history.
Okay, well, basically I played at a high level when I was young. I was very lucky enough to represent my city of London and a lot of representative counties such as Middlesex and Harrow, etc. And I played for South East England. I had trials and spells at Spurs and at QPR, and played semi-pro for quite a long period until I got injured in my early 20s. And then I turned my hand to coaching, and some of my early influences were great, had a great effect on my career. People, for example, like Frank O'Brien, who's now one of the top academy directors at Chelsea, Colin Hedges, Dave Finn, who was at Watford, were great influences on me. And I did my level 1, 2 and 3 very quickly, and then I did my UEFA badge, and I was under the wing of Roy Hodgson, who's now the current England national team manager. So, and then I've coached at many semi-pro clubs, and also, as I've said before, a lot of projects, especially in the London area, and now obviously this new challenge out in the States.
Now, for our audience to have some kind of an idea of the level you guys play at, or the standard in which Chivas plays, can you give me kind of an overview of some of the opponents you guys have played in the past?
Sure. Well, firstly, we played the very, very top level, and the very, very highest standard of opponent. And I believe, you know, Chivas have played against the Brazil national team, for example. In my time here, in the last 6 months, we've played against the IMG Academy, the Western Academy, BW Gochi. We played Botafogo of Brazil. We played against the Inter Milan Academy. So these are the very, very, very top level of opponent that you can play at this age group. I think that going forward, we really are only looking to play the very, very top level so that our players can achieve the maximum that is possible.
We talked about some of the scouts that are very interested and follow Chivas closely. What are some of the players that you know that they're highlighting on a regular basis that you guys have?
Well, I have to be very careful here because I start naming certain players and then they get a big head in training and then, you know, I might have a problem on my hands. But we have an enormous amount of talent in our side. I mean, you know, it's a joy to be coaching, you know, such a talented group of players. We have an extremely talented goalkeeper, Josh Kennedy, who recently in a game pulled off 2 saves, which I still, even today, when I play back your videotape that you did, you know, I still don't understand how he managed to save those. So he's a tremendous talent. Also, Carlos Cabrera, a very, very strong centre-half and a very dedicated player. And Justin Lee, who's one of our fullbacks, great potential, great promise, and ever-present in our side. My captain and my holding midfielder is Dino Beaver, Mr. Reliable, Captain Reliable. You know, last night in training, I said the defence played well. He called it his defence, so I wasn't going to argue with him. You know, that's his defence now. And Xavier Erasio, again, players of immense ability. There's a great camaraderie in our team. You know, players help each other. And it's my job as a coach to develop the players all to a maximum. So the players that are at the top of their game right now, you know, there's no such thing as a perfect footballer. You know, we can always improve. So at the moment, though, the standard is incredibly high, and there are some standout players.
Now, we know that Chivas is only in their 2nd season, but are there any success stories that you've had from specific players already?
Absolutely. The club has made enormous strides in the last couple of seasons, mainly due to the efforts of the club academy owner and founder, Greg Beaver. They've had players that have gone to clubs in Colombia, for example, in South America, and also a player, Ivan Pineda, who went from this academy to play in Chivas USA in Los Angeles. So that automatically is a very, very good achievement. But we're also now looking at more players going down to South America, and also players going over to trial in the EPL and also clubs in Germany, Holland and Italy.
Now, we've had a lot of information here, and you've talked about some of the great places that Chivas has been. Where do you see Chivas going in the future, both near and long term?
Well, the sky's the limit for us. You know, I mean, our motto here is shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll land on the stars. You know, we want to reach the highest level we can do. Basically, we have tournaments coming up now, major tournaments at IMG, the Western Tournament. We have very, very high-profile friendlies. We have players coming from Europe, from South America, that are going to join the squad. Very, very strong, talented players. And basically, the under-18 side will travel to Europe this summer to play against English Premier League academies. And we're actually putting in place a program for our under-16s to travel down and play at a professional facility in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So very exciting times coming up for Chivas.
Well, Coach Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. It's always a pleasure. Good luck with everything that Chivas has going on in the upcoming year. And make sure you tell people where they can follow along with you guys at.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can follow us on the Chivas Florida Facebook page. We also have a Chivas Florida YouTube channel. And we have a website, which is chivasflorida.org.